force is going to get torn up by these zealots and interceptors, and I think Satiini is going to lose this expansion yet again. Yes, he is pulling out 3 zealots, chasing away the last of this infantry, but a fairly strong force. The army of Satiini still fairly large, but these carriers and Socke's ground force is constantly being rewarped in from this pile of gateway units. I think Socke can just roll over his opponent right now, maybe try hitting this hard point once again, or trying something fancy, maybe hitting this front instead. We'll have to wait and see. Socke just checking all his expansions, making sure his opponent isn't operating on any more than these 3. Meanwhile, he is operating on all 5 on his side, still has not taken. He is now taking this nexus on the gold minerals. So things going very, very well for Socke. A very, very strong force of carriers with no strong counters from the Terran player to shoot them down. And that beautiful play against those ghosts there. So many ghosts killed. I don't even know if he's rebuilding them. I'll have to check real quick. Do we have any ghosts? No more ghosts coming out. That's probably a good decision. Carriers are only 150 shields, 300 health, and the interceptors are the problem. And tons of Templars, so very, very threatening force by Socke, but he is really just biding his time. Doesn't really feel any pressure to press out. And 100 probes. Oh my goodness. That is half of his supply dedicated to units. A 2,600 income. I don't know if I've ever seen something that big. And huge amounts of minerals saved up, and he is maxed out on supply. He just needs to queue up a bunch of interceptors and get in there, because it is high time to start killing some units. Socke has way too many resources and a full army, so what good is having all that? Let's see, this is guerrilla Templar use here. So this army is pretty beat up. Clearly whatever happened there was very successful, but Socke does need to press out, though he is winning with a commanding lead. Look at that difference in supply, 130 to 200, and looks like about a 4,000 resource difference in army, and a huge reserve of 5,000 gas and 5,000 minerals, almost 6 now, 2,500 gas. This army needs to engage, get in there, take some casualties, deal some casualties, and just keep this carrier force alive, because that is a terrifying 7-carrier fleet. I have never seen that many carriers. Nobody uses them, but Socke being very, very successful with them. And feedback on this ghost. The ghost is now 23 hit points and limping away, and completely cut down by those carriers. Socke now throwing a lot of pylons and cannons up. He's going to hold this base, and now pressing on this expansion for a 3rd time. I don't see how this is not going to fall. And Satiini rallying his forces to press his opponent back. He does have a lot of Vikings, which is what he needs at this point in time, but interestingly enough, even with their 125 hit points, it is the Psy Storms of these High Templar that are causing all this trouble. 80 damage to every unit in the area. So very, very powerful Psy Storms, and look at this choke point right here, right here. Satiini is actually in a lot of trouble. He won't be able to repel these forces without putting himself in position for some There is the first Psy Storm on the Vikings and on his infantry. Psy Storm here as well. Look at how bunched up these units are. Tons of carriers, all still alive. Interceptors are just everywhere. And finally, Socke, taking some losses, able to spend this 10,000 mineral lead he is enjoying. And every time these infantry try and get remotely close to this cliff edge, Templar just throws another Psy Storm down and tears them up. The army of Satiini is just getting torn apart by Psy Storms, interceptors, and tons of infantry. And finally down 12 supply, so looks like Socke will soon be able to build new units with all this money, but these carriers are just biding their time. He has all the support he needs to just sit here. What good are these EMPs? They won't do anything. It's far too late for that. These Vikings doing their best, just firing missiles at interceptors, not focusing on these carriers. And reinforcing zealots getting warped in. They arrive, and that will be it. They are able to push back any actual infantry, and Satiini just up and leaves. That must have been frustrating for Satiini, being overwhelmed like that by carriers. Who'd have thought you'd see carriers? But when you can control that many bases, that is all 6 bases on his side, you can support any army you darn well please. So a good game by Socke. Both players played fairly well, and pretty entertaining, I thought. So I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, this is Mac with iCCupTV. Be sure to check out this channel for more updates in the future, especially after release and during beta phase 2. And if you also want some more, you can check out my channel, the Mac StarCraft channel. And until next time, probably later this week or next week, have a good one.